Ladies and gentlemen, the most exciting stage show you've ever witnessed.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Professionals, the rotating show that has rotated its way to my channel tonight. We're all wearing red in celebration of the late Charlie Kirk. It was his birthday today. And so we're supporting that and him getting the Medal of Freedom from President Trump today. So God bless Charlie. And we are going to be talking about pet peeves, tropes that bother the hell out of us and probably bother you too and don't even realize it. And then we'll, this is a free-flowing conversational show. So we'll be going off into other topics, I'm sure. But to get us started, I'll tell you the thing I really bugs me in comics, in superhero comics, guys.
Uh-oh.
Let me tell me if this doesn't bother you. And it's modern day superhero comics. It's whenever superheroes are gathered together, like the Justice League or the Avengers or heroes meet up or something like that. Everybody knows everybody's identity and they call them by their real names. It drives me absolutely crazy when Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are sitting around talking. They're like, "Oh, hi Clark, hi Bruce, hi Diana." Even though they're wearing their costumes,
right?
It's so stupid. It's so frat housey that all their, when they are actually fighting, they're going to be used to calling each other by their names. So it's like, "Oh, look out, Bruce." Oh,
yeah. Batman.
Yeah. Oh, Batman's name is Bruce. Okay, I'll do a quick Google search. I just can't stand it. When they're wearing their uniforms, that's their identity. That's who they are. Now,
never even noticed that, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So now, back in the old days, when the Justice League would get together, they'd have their masks on and everything, and it was always Green Arrow, Batman, Superman, and they called them by their superhero names because that's why they're wearing costumes and masks. It just that really bugs the shit out of me in modern comics. It's just they're trying to get too intimate and personal. Now it's different if you're in the Batcave and Robin and Batman are there with their masks down. Of course, he's going to call them Bruce and Tim,
sure,
and all of that. But and the worst is like,
would he call him a dick though?
He calls
that Robin, yes,
yeah. But Superman, they call him Clark, or worse, they'll call him Cal. I can't stand that. He didn't even know he was from another planet for years, so he's not going to respond to the name Cal.
Right.
Clark is who he really is. Superman's the made-up name. So that's one of the things that bugs the hell out of me. How about you guys? What
does it have to be? I mean, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there anyway because it's
movies, TV, any type of entertainment.
But talking about comics, this trend that's probably been going on for 20 plus years now is this story deconstruction, where, and this is more of a technical aspect than it is character, like you're talking about. But it's like writing stuff to fit into a 6 issue trade paperback collection. And when you're reading the monthly comics, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Then something happens. Nothing happens. When we were growing up, I remember I have memories of like comic books that had such epic stories in them. I remember them being, that had to have been 3 or 4 issues long. And then you go and look it back up and it was 2 issues. It was a 2-parter, but it was just so full of story and drama. And it's just like this basically TV writing that has invaded comic book drives me nuts.
Look at This Man, This Monster, FF51. 1 issue.
That would be a 12-issue miniseries.
Yeah, 1 issue to get to the crux of Ben's pain.
Yeah, I'd like to circle back to that, but if I may, one of my biggest pet peeves is when we do a show, that we've been doing the Professionals for how many years now? Have we been doing 5 years? Yeah. Yet, and we have a protocol to start with This Week in Comics or Today in Comics, and we skip it.
Oh shit. You're right. Boy, that is a pet peeve. And guess what? Nolan was unprepared because he had to also do 31 Days of Monsters today. So and he's building that damn Indiegogo campaign. So let me do a quick search. Aaron, tell us about your pet peeves.
As you're searching, we should acknowledge the fact that I believe it was Drew Struzan passed away today. Is that not correct?
Wow.
Yes.
Yep.
I had a bad feeling too. His wife posted 2 days ago, I think it was, on Facebook, an update about him. And I mean, she didn't say it, like, I had a bad feeling just from reading that update because it was so long and she hadn't posted one in a while. And I was like, oh, this is kind of out of the blue. So the news today, I mean, it sucks, but man,
it's not shocking.
Right. It's not shocking.
No, we knew he had dementia and this was coming, but it's amazing how quickly, once you get diagnosed with dementia, how quickly it just goes so quick. And then,
actually, dementia, you could last for decades because the mind goes, but the body could be healthy.
But isn't it one that you forget to eat, that you're hungry?
Eventually, that's what'll happen. But like Ronald Reagan had it, and he had it for like 10, 15 years. Before he died from it,
Yeah.
Well, interesting. The last couple of people I've known that have got or known of, just like they got it and then like a year later they were gone.
Wow. Yeah, because he had posted, was it him who posted maybe a year or 2 ago on his Facebook page that he's no longer able to sign things and he's retiring from it because he was open about it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was that long ago, honestly.
It wasn't that long ago.
And I think it was I think it was his wife that actually posted about it the first time.
Oh, it was her then that said Drew will no longer be able to sign,
I think so, yeah. And I think it was within the past year. I don't think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem well.
I mean, he
just
revolutionized and just changed movie posters,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And now look, they're crap.
Yeah. Well, now they're photographs.
Well,
now we're into
or
these
not even. Well, photographs or photo bashing in Photoshop, which bad.
Well, there'll be AI soon. You know that.
Yeah, I had some interesting conversations with someone who works in that. Arthur,
what's the bear?
Somebody didn't get the red shirt message.
Nope.
Oh, I'll tell you, we got crazy. We got crazy here at the house. Got crazy ambitious, and so we decided to rip up all the baseboards in the whole house.
Holy crap!
You're just
a
redoing the entire
house team.
Yeah, I'm good. It's good that I'm even out of that hell.
I got work that needs to be done over here, so when you're done, I'll buy you a plane ticket.
Yeah,
I'll do it for a beer. No problem.
Sure. Oh, perfect.
Beer and
well, now it's 2 beers, Graham, because Andy's beer isn't going to pay for your work.
That's right.
Okay, Billy, I know what happened in comic history today.
Oh, what happened in comics history, Graham?
Well, as it turns out, that the very first professional I ever met in comics was born on this date in 1915.
You don't
know who it is.
The great C.C. Beck.
C.C. Beck.
Yes,
wow.
The creator of Captain Marvel.
Whose contact info are you
The
looking for?
original.
Not too shabby, Graham.
One of the great Golden Age artists. Terrific.
Yeah. Oh, so
terrific illustrator. Great.
1915.
His figure work was outstanding.
I met him in 1977 at a convention in Orlando. Saw him in the hallway, and I had just bought a copy of Captain Marvel Adventures number 52. I think I paid $20, which was a lot of money for me back then.
Mhm.
So I came up to him. I was real nervous, you know. What was I, 15 in 77, something like that? And you know, he was really nice, you know, because everybody said he was a real curmudgeon, you know, but he was super nice to me. He said, "Oh yeah, this is a great old copy," you know, and he signed it, put a little lightning bolt on it and everything for me. I still have it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey, what do you think somebody like that would think of some of these crowd funds where we, you know, get 100K, stuff like that? Would he have just like lost his mind if he thought one comic book could bring in that kind of cash?
I think he
Probably.
loses his mind over the prices of the original art.
That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine like his when he came back and did Shazam in the early 1970s? He did only 10 issues, I think, 9 or 10 issues.
Yeah, something like that.
That original artwork that he did is worth some good bucks now.
Wow.
Hey,
Graham.
you know McFarlane's Batman cover where he's got the chick and he's all black and the cape's all over the place. That
Yeah.
was either Batman or Detective.
Mhm.
That's up on here. I think it's still up on Heritage, and they were debating whether or not I was going to hit 1 million. I should go check and see what that
A
actually brought
million
in.
for that?
That's what
So
they're-
Graham, real quick, another one of your favorites was born today.
Let's
Bob
have it, Andy.
Oxner. Bob
Bob
Oxner,
Oxner. Yeah, that's right.
1916.
Wow, he was only a year younger than
Yeah.
CC Beck.
Now, when did CC Beck die? Do you recall what year it was?
I don't know. I want to say it was in the 90s.
Bob made it to 2007.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
Graham, I'm
awesome.
looking at it right now. CC Beck died in 1975.
No, he didn't.
So you met the ghost.
Oh, yes. Oh, Billy's lying again, folks.
I'm lying again.
You know how you can tell his mouth is moving?
Going back
Delayed
to what
reaction.
Alan said,
All right, that
yeah.
McFarlane covers at $512,000 with 2 days left to go in the auction.
holy shit.
Share it. Let's see it.
I don't think it'll go to 1 million.
You know what else
Yeah,
is
that was 2
interesting
days
about
left.
that? What's interesting about that is that's the stuff he did 2 issues, right? Those were those the year 1 stories?
Year 2.
Year
Yeah.
2. So he did 2 issues, and from what I hear, one of those issues, or maybe both of them, he did in a week, pencils and inks or something like that. Is that true?
I don't
One
know.
of them, I don't know. I know one of them was inked. Wasn't one of them inked by Alfredo
Yeah.
Acala?
Yeah, Alfredo.
And then the
Alcala, I think.
second one, I think Todd inked. If somebody in the chat, Marcus, are you there? I'm sure you know the answer.
Yeah, Marcus. See if he did it in a week, because it's
Didn't he?
maybe it's just an urban legend, but I thought he had done it in a week.
What didn't he do that like invasion thing for DC too? Like that was the first
Yeah.
thing he did,
Yep.
and then he did a couple of Batman things, and he jumped over to
No,
Marvel.
I thought the Batman stuff. So the first stuff at DC was oh my God. It wasn't All-Star Squadron. It was damn. It was a book like that. Why am I
Yeah.
blanking now?
Yeah, you're right. The Justice Society? Or no?
No. Somebody in the chat will get
It
it.
was something
So,
the Golden Age, wasn't it?
yeah,
He
yeah. it
did
was
work
Golden Age
on
characters.
the Justice Society, right?
Well, anyhow, that was the first stuff, and then he did Batman Infinity Inc. That was it,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Infinity
That's
Inc.
right. That's right.
and
The
that
old
was inked by
Wave.
Tony DeZuniga. And then I think it was Batman, and I think Invasion was after that, and I think he left Invasion to go to Marvel because he didn't finish it because they had Bart finish
Yeah, Bart.
Invasion.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
There you go. The legend.
That's
of
when he
Todd
started
McFarlane.
working on Hulk. And then
yeah, and the Invasion stuff is, you can really see. I mean, you can see Todd in that cover, but for the interior stuff, you can really see it in the Invasion stuff.
Yeah, those aliens were pretty creepy. Cool.
yeah, they were
looking.
cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right.
There you go.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that is what happened in comic book history. Art. First thing I said, pet peeves is superheroes calling each other by their secret identity names. when they're in full costume. Drives me nuts. Bruce, Hal, Peter, Steve, whatever. So
Why do we have code names if we're going to use them?
Right. And as I said to the other guys, they're out in the middle of a battle or something, and they're going to call them Bruce and Clark and all this other stuff, because they're not thinking. There's, adrenaline going. Bruce, look out!
Yeah.
So
Prince.
right. So that was my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Billy was
is
starting something. I think Billy.
This is more of a pet peeve in movies I've seen recently
Yeah.
than a trope. But so, Dennis and I catch a movie once a week for the movie reviews and stuff. And what we've noticed in a few movies recently is you'll see an actor that's pretty good, and but they're playing, like, I use air quotes, supposedly the smaller part. And right out of the gate, Dennis and I are both like, that's bullshit. There's no way this guy's playing a smaller part. And next thing you know, oh, he's the bad guy.
Right.
They're trying to hide him as the bad guy. It's like, you don't cast somebody and then basically try to be like, oh, he's just this desk clerk. And then later in the movie, he's revealed to be the bad guy. Because it's just too much of a...
You're saying it's too obvious that it ruins it? You're saying it's too obvious that it ruins
it's just too obvious.
Yeah.
And it's a pet peeve. Now, I guess you could say the flip side to it is, younger, like, somebody my daughter's age could see the movie and it probably wouldn't do anything because she doesn't have the background knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actors like we do.
Well, the flip side too is when you get a star that gets killed off, and they're a big star, like Janet Leigh in
Psycho.
Psycho,
Yeah.
or Samuel Adams, Samuel Adams.
Sam Adams, that's beer.
Yeah, the Samuel Jackson getting killed off in that shark movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's her name? Drew Barrymore in Scream.
Oh yeah,
It opened up with her, and that was like,
what was the movie where, oh my gosh, was it Steven Seagal dies in the opening scene? It's like an airplane.
Executive.
Yeah, it was Kurt Russell. Air Force One, something, not Air Force One, but it was, what was it called?
Was it Executive Decision or
Yeah.
Air Force One? One of those.
No, it's not Air Force One. That's
Harrison Ford.
Harrison
Actually,
Ford, yeah.
that one worked because I don't know. I saw it and I was like, there was no real expectations. And I think Steven Seagal is a big enough hero, like star, but not like huge. So when he dies, yeah.
The one movie they did that with, it was Samuel Jackson and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Was that The Good Guys? What was that called?
The
Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And the beginning of the movie starts and we're like, holy shit, they kept it a secret that The Rock and Sam Jackson are in this movie. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And so is everybody seeing it or no?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Okay. Well, spoiler alert.
Whatever.
So The Other Guys is basically Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. They're cops, and Will Ferrell doesn't even get a real gun. He gets a wooden gun, right? So you can see where it's going.
I wouldn't give him a real gun either.
So the movie starts with Sam Jackson and The Rock chasing down this bad guy, and they're up on a roof, and the bad guy jumps off the roof or something.
He has a parachute or something.
He had a parachute or something.
Yeah.
And Sam Jackson and The Rock are just these tough guys. They're like, we can do this. And they just run and jump off the roof and fall to their death.
Because they're doing all this crazy their car's exploding and they're walking out of the car after it flips over a million. He's like, I just got that painted. Yeah. Like,
Hey,
really
Andy, did you ever watch, or any of you guys, that show Millennium? It was like a Chris, what was the X-Files guy?
Yeah,
Chris Carter.
Chris Carter. It lasted a couple seasons and it had kind of moments, but it got really too dark. But anyway, there's a scene like that. There's this guy, he's kind of like a Scientologist. He's upbeat and everything's like doable, stuff like that. And so he's going to get away from, the hero. And he's like, you're not going to make that jump. There's no one that can make that jump. And he goes, not with that attitude, I won't. And so he rears back and he He doesn't even get 5 feet from the room. It's hilarious. It's like gravity just hits instantly. He goes right down to his death.
Yeah.
And it was the funniest.
I
It's
love that.
dark, but it was the funniest damn thing I had ever
Not
seen.
with that attitude.
Not with that attitude.
I gotta tell you, I recommend the other guys because
So do I.
as Andy said, when they jump and they're like this going, "Wah," and you just see them like doing this as they're going down, all of a sudden they just keep going and going. You're like, what's gonna, and they just go and they go to all.
I wonder what happened first. Which one came first, that movie or that Millennium?
Well, the other guys is within a decade, I think.
Yeah, I think Millennium is older.
It's like 30 years.
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
But you want another pet peeve, or are we going in order?
I have
No,
a-
just throw them out. Who's got
Yeah,
one?
I have one too, but I'd like to go back to what Aaron said, and I read about that. You've got, like you said, This Man, This Monster, right? Is it Fantastic Four 61 or something?
51.
51, right?
Evan, you're mint copy. Just saying.
It's in 1966, right? June of 66 or something. Great issue. One of my favorite comic stories of all time. And as Aaron had brought up, Art, before you got here, is that today that would be a 12-issue miniseries.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Any of those books.
Yeah. But I was talking to these guys, these writers and stuff. So like Bendis and guys like that or whatever, they would have like a 6-issue series. And Marvel would make a big event out of it. And the numbers are really big, right? So like, you know, let's make it 9. Let's make it 12 because they want them royalties because they were big, and so that's just stretching shit out. And then
what is it called? Long form storytelling or whatever. Where they drag that stuff out. It's like I worked on that Ultimate Spider-Man. It took forever to get him in the costume, and I was talking to a Hollywood writer friend of mine. I can't say his name, but he said you could never do that unless it was an established character. You know what I mean? Because everybody was praising him. Oh, Spider-Man doesn't get his costume till issue 6 or whatever the hell it is. And it's really neat to see this. The only reason they could do that is because everybody already knew Spider-Man.
Right.
Because the reason Ditko and Lee couldn't do stuff like that is because they were establishing something. And we all know if you don't grab somebody quickly in comics, then you lose your audience. And so you could only do that in a more modern day type of, looking at it. So I always thought like, it wasn't necessarily like genius. It was just kind of the time, like the time, was like, well, yeah, we can do these long form storytelling. And just on that same thing, it's like, I blame Fabian Nicieza. And if you're listening, Fabian, yeah. but anyway, is because like I worked on a couple books that he wrote. And what he would do is he would find a subject matter, and then it was kind of that start of that long form where it's like, oh, tasers. So then tasers end up in every one of the books for that month. Like whatever it was that he was into, it ended up becoming, a major part of the book. And so he would do that quite a bit. And I always thought like, wow, because like you guys were talking, like some of these books, these old books, there'd be like 3 plot lines. There'd be like 3 major ideas in one 22-page book.
Oh, yeah.
And so these new writers are like, taking one idea, like you guys were saying, and making it into 3 issues or 6 issues or whatever. I think it's a cop-out, but anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like
Denny O'Neil, it was either Denny O'Neil or Paul Levitz who broke that down. And Marvel used to do this as the 3-story arc in a single issue. So in other words, you had your main plot line, you had your subplot, and you had your seeding for the next storyline. So like you might have Spider-Man fighting the tarantula, but then we also see Harry Osborn discovering Peter Parker has a Spider-Man mask. And then in another and also then you have some relationship stuff. Well, now once the tarantula story is over, it morphs into the Green Goblin, Harry Osborn story. And then that's how they used to keep that continuity going in comics. And it was great. It was great. You couldn't wait for the next issue, Well,
that's the thing that they're not doing today is that you can separate those things. The action can still be in every issue while you're running your subplot, whatever it is that carries it on to the next issue, right? Which is your soap opera stuff, Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, and then, like you say, setting up the next villain or whatever, but you've still got 15, 16, and a 20-page comic, you've still got 15 pages of action of Spider-Man fighting Molten Man or whatever. And they just do this like A to Z storytelling, and they don't, and it's just, 3 days with Peter Parker getting groceries, and then he runs in the Green Goblin, but then he has to go on a date for 3 years. You know what I mean? It's just like you can
think about it. Just think about it this way for like selling the next issue. This is the best way to sell the next issue. If you're somebody, you just picked up one of these books, and you're like, boom, 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 great. There's 15 pages of action, but this like little subplot thing, where's that going? Boom, buy the next issue. I think it's a way better marketing tool than anything that modern comics.
It is, but they're not pushing the floppies. That's it. Is that with this long form is perfect for the trade backs, the trade paper. The work is already paid for. You bundle it up, and it's just printing costs.
Right. You can still do, but you could still do 6 power-packed issues in a trade paperback. It doesn't have to be 6 boring issues or 5 boring issues with one. Finally, everything comes together.
Well, the proof behind that is just all the trades that DC and Marvel are reprinting now from the 70s and 80s.
Right.
Yeah, you can do it.
Selling books of the facsimiles.
Yeah, Dan DiDio, when he was still at DC, was complaining about it all the time. The old reprints sell better than the new stuff. And go, hello.
Oh, that's because you're printing bad shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Agreed.
All right. Well, here's another pet peeve of mine, and this is in movies. They always have a parking space.
Oh yeah.
The story could be in New York City, and the guy's got to get to court, right? And he can pull up and park right in front of the courthouse.
Yeah.
He's not circling the block or anything. It's the parking spot's right there.
How dare you, Graham Nolan? Batman in the 66 show drove right up to the city hall, right in front of it, and just ran up the steps.
I figured they had that spot set for Batman.
Right. That's Batman's spot.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What's
That's like horror movies, and horror movies are getting better at it. But there's always the one where it's like you're just yelling at the TV or whatever, going, "Just leave."
Yeah,
just leave.
Or
oh my God, this house is haunted. What should I do? Leave.
Turn the light on.
Yeah,
turn the light on.
Who walks into a house and walks through the house without turning a single light on?
Right.
Like the kitchen's in the back of the house, and they're going to walk through a dark house to get to the kitchen to turn the light on.
Yeah.
You know what's
running into everything?
I'd have to say my biggest pet peeve in film is like war movies or military movies when they get the uniforms wrong or the weapons. That drives me nuts. Now I understand it going back to the 60s and the 50s, like even Combat, the show I love, like there was a German sniper in one scene, and he's got a Mauser rifle. But it's a hunting rifle. It's like somebody's hunting rifle. It's
no way.
It's not a real Mauser 98K. That there are millions of them. Yeah. And just like Combat is a lot of things going wrong with it. But I remember Saving Private Ryan, awesome, right? Great film. It should have won the Academy Award that year. But when the landing ships are coming in towards Normandy Beach, there's these the Germans had enacted and not whatever it would be. They created these logs, big logs on things that you would have the tanks would when the tanks would roll up, they'd roll up the log and fall over and flip over, right?
Yeah. Hitler's asparagus.
Yeah, well, the Hitler's asparagus was is asparagus long? Is it asparagus long? Because then that's it. That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So, but he had them facing the wrong way.
Oh, geez. So they could go up like a ramp.
Yeah, so they would like
really?
So instead of so here's the tank.
Be like a teeter-totter.
Yeah, instead of the tank going up this way, right, on it and falling over, they were facing this way, so the tank would just like knock it over.
No way.
Wall, and it's a bit. You look at any photo of Normandy, you see the way they are.
I'll just say, how can you? There's no reason at all.
So somebody knew that they were there, but didn't know the purpose of why they were there. You know what I mean? So they just saw a photograph. They dressed the set, and then they just kind of went with it. Yeah.
Well, they also got the ending where the P-50 the P-51 comes in. It's the wrong plane.
Yeah, it would have been a Thunderbolt. It would have been a Thunderbolt for sure.
Hey Billy, if I was directing that movie, I would have had the tank come off. You know how they do it in Hollywood, where there's just like they ride the two wheels.
Yeah.
Like the tank
Oh,
hits
yeah.
away, and then it
Like
starts
the
riding
other
two
guys.
wheels. At the
I
same
had
time,
him
the
pop a
gun
wheelie.
barrels go bam, 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 bam.
Like Sergeant Rock would have rode that up and then shot a hole
Yeah.
and blew up the whole thing.
Well,
But
you
like
know, all those bunkers were up on the hill. You know, they should have had him pop a wheelie so that the gun was facing up, and then come in like
And then
this.
fire.
Yeah, come on, man.
most of the tanks sank.
Blow the
anyway.
shit out of them. The
Yeah.
pillboxes.
I have to say that would be a movie I would absolutely love if these tanks were doing like super horrific, like superhuman kind of things and stuff. That'd be so cool, man. My pet peeve. Okay, it's comic books. It's every action adventure, but it's usually done in superhero comics and movies. Where you got a Justice League story, right? And so we got all the great Justice League characters. You're Superman. Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, all these like really powerful Green Lantern, all these characters, right? And then they introduce, I don't know, what's her name? Vixen. They bring in her, and what was the other one? Gypsy, and then somebody else. But anyways, I don't mean to be picking on these poor characters, but what they do is they do suck. Is I don't know why they do this, but they'll make all the really powerful characters less than what they should be, so it makes these other characters look cooler. Like, well, Superman can't do it because Vixen has to do it, and why can't Superman do it? Well, let's come up with some kind of lame reason why he can't do it, And for me, it's like, one, I think it's really, really bad writing, and two, anytime I read that stuff, even when I was a kid, I was like, I don't care about Vixen. I want to see Superman do some cool shit, And so for me, it was always kind of like, why do we even have Vixen in it? Like, she's making everybody worse than they really can be.
Clamoring for Vixen.
Yeah. Now,
But then I always thought, like, as a writer, as a creative person, all you do is then make the villain even more villainous, right? So then, like, not only does it challenge Superman, but it challenges, Vixen as well, or whatever, whatever the character is. I hate that. Like the Fantastic Four, I worked on it for 2 years, and Chris Claremont was writing it. He's a brilliant writer, but it was always Ben Grimm. Everything was at the expense of Ben Grimm. Like, oh well, this character, Ben Grimm could clobber the shit out of him, but for some reason he can't do it, and it's not going to be clobbering time for you.
Yeah.
What's going to be clobbering time?
It's like
Wasn't that
blue ball
weird?
comics,
Yeah. What?
Did you say Blue Ball comics?
Yeah, it's like blue ball comics. You can't wait for the it's clobbering time moment, and it never comes.
Yeah.
It never comes.
It's
Yeah.
like the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, it's like that's right. It was like a Blue Balls movie.
That's cool.
Yeah, nobody came in that movie.
You could have a whole new publishing company called Blue Ball Comics, and you just disappoint every issue.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta figure out
Everything
the
they
logo.
do, it's called Marvel Comics.
Everything climax ends flat.
Yeah. Well, what about remember Superman, the Superman films, right? Christopher Reeve, the Donner films, Superman, right? Goes up against Lex Luthor, right? Goes up against Lex Luthor, defeats Lex Luthor. Superman 2, right? Stops the nuclear war, nuclear bombing of 2 cities or a city and a town. Superman 2, he goes up against 3 Supermen, right? Defeats them, wins. Superman 3, was it Richard Pryor? Is that-
Robert
Yeah,
Vaughn.
Richard
No,
Pryor.
Robert Vaughn was the bad guy, but
Robert Vaughn, really? Like, what I mean? Like, he just defeated 3 Super. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see that shit. I'm like,
And the thing is, this is another thing that goes the other way, though, Billy, is like when you have a character be able to stop time and reverse it, or you have a character be able to time travel, automatically that is the most powerful character ever. So
Yeah,
that
sure.
card should really never be played. And if you do, it has to be really, really tightly written to be a one and done, right? There's no way you could ever repeat it. It has to be just that moment in time, and that's it.
well, on a
How
smaller
about when they foreshadow the shit out of a plot point? Like in Jurassic Park 3, you know, we see Jeff Goldblum's kid, right? Who just happens to be a gymnast, right? So you know damn well there's going to be a point where there's bars.
Oh, yeah.
He is going to be doing some gymnastic shit on
Yeah.
to get him.
You ever hear about like gymkata? It's like
Yeah.
gymnastics with like karate.
Yeah, with the guy from the Olympics, right?
Yeah, so she was kind of like gymkata, right? Like so somehow like it was weird, right, Graham? Like you have all these like guys with like major firepower and stuff. You never see him shoot one raptor, right? But she spins around on the single bar, kicks the raptor, and saves the day. Like,
and concentrating on her form while she's doing it. You know?
She dismounts, everybody holds up a
dismounts.
10. Yeah.
Perfect score. You know what I always hate? I hated Batman being in the Justice League because Batman would never be in the Justice League.
Yeah.
And every time I read Justice League and he's in it. In fact, I had to draw it because he was in Justice League International for a while and it drove me crazy. Like he has no business in this book.
Yeah.
I agree.
He wouldn't be on a
wholeheartedly.
team. Under any circumstances would he be on a team.
That's a problem with Batman now is that he's got the biggest family of just about any comic, and everybody knows his identity. He's got all these people revolving around him in this world when it used to be just Batman, Alfred, Robin, and the Commissioner, and that was it. You know, that was the core of everything. Now you got a million people going in and out of that cave like it's Grand Central Station. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
here's
an
a
old
pet
fart,
peeve
but
that I haven't thought through, but I'm going to throw it at you guys, right?
Go ahead.
Okay, the Marvel Universe, right? The cinematic universe. Right off the bat, Tony Stark says, I am Iron Man. So, and then throughout all of the movies, no one has a secret identity. No one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe had a secret identity. So is that problematic for the writers or is that cool?
Well,
it's not problematic because the actors want their faces to be seen, so that's why they hardly ever wear masks. And whenever they land, they take the mask off. You know, I mean, because they want their, you know, the ego, and they want
the actor wants to be seen. Yeah.
Look at the movie posters; they're all maskless, including Iron Man. You know.
What about this one, guys? When you have like in the Dark Knight film with that, was it Zoe Kravitz play Catwoman?
Oh, the Batman.
Whatever, the Bat. She's about 5'1" and 100 pounds, and she's punching a dude in the face and knocking him out. She sure could take a punch from this.
Dude, that's a movie trope in itself.
I know.
Having the small little women just kicking the shit out of these big guys.
Yeah.
And you're just like, dude, all they have to do is land one punch.
Yeah.
And that's it.
This
Like
I thought they did a pretty good
guys.
Yeah, I thought they did a pretty good job with Black Widow, because she used her weight, you know, where she did that kind of wrestling move and she spun around and did that stuff. So, you know, they didn't just have her like punch some guy in the face and knock him out and things like that. So I thought it was a little bit more realistic.
I agree.
For her.
Yeah. What about when Esther goes up against the Headless Horseman in Wraith of God 3? And literally rips off his second head like he's got a head really a midget.
No, I cut that out.
Oh, you did?
And it's too late for me to get a refund. The campaign's closed. You bet.
He jumps up on the horse, spins around, knocks him off, and then Wraith
never shows more than just her ankle.
Yeah, it was like in the Night Stalker that he was inspired because it's really a midget inside the Headless Horseman. So this part's not real. He sees
and he's standing on the saddle. He's standing on the saddle, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're referring to, Billy, with the Night Stalker with the motorcycle guy, and he's got the thing up on his shoulders. And you can tell like his arms are way too low.
That's like in March of the Wooden Soldiers, they did that. One of my holiday faves. Remember the Tin Man goes walking through, but his legs are like this big, but his torso's like that, and he gets his head knocked off, and it comes through his little arms like it's a midget in there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, midget.
Midget. We could go on for days.
Legend.
Or as Aaron likes to say, dwarves.
Dwarves.
Well, there are dwarves
and
then
there's
Dwarves.
You remember
that
90s?
movie Silent Running? Do you guys remember that? Like those droids were cool, man. they had like guys that didn't have like, this is kind of sad, but they didn't have lower torsos. So they were kind of like walking on their hands. So those robots were kind of unique looking. And from what I hear, it inspired George for like, R2D2, that type of thing.
I never saw that movie.
Well, they had a robot like in the first Star Wars movie when the sand people capture them and they wake up and they're in that big Land Rover. And then the ones was getting tortured and had the feet up on the heated thing, and he goes,
Yeah.
Did they dip it in like acid or something?
yeah, something like that. He's like, ah!
Hey, the
Like
bigger
robot
question is,
torture.
why did George Lucas have to put someone inside R2D2? Why did there have to be a little midget in there? Why couldn't they just remote control that? What benefit was there to having a?
Did you see all the outtakes of the remote control?
Oh, it didn't work.
Yeah,
That thing hit everything that wasn't nailed down.
Controls? Did he have little? Did
Yeah, I mean, how did the midget move around? Because when it moved, it kind of it didn't like the.
They just did the one where he kind of hops back and forth, and then that third foot goes out there, and then it's.
So when he goes like this, is Kenny Baker just shaking inside?
Yeah.
That's his claim to fame.
And he could move the head part, like he had like a little knob that he could spin around and all that kind of stuff. And then when you didn't see the legs or wheels, they just had it on a track and they would just push him. So he was nice and smooth.
Yeah, I that really famous shot where it's an outtake and Leia is waiting. That first interaction when she puts that thing inside his data bank or whatever, and it's going down that little path, and then it's like a bowling ball. Like when you're bowling, you just kind of hope that your ball doesn't hit the gutter, right? You just get on like you're good. And so this thing just goes and it goes right off that path.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Star Wars, that's if I a trope from my something that drives me nuts is those ships in Star Wars and Buck Rogers and a lot of the films after Star Wars came out, when they're flying in outer space, they fly like this.
Right.
And it looks cool. I get it, but they wouldn't fly like this.
There's no atmosphere.
Right. So, but they wouldn't. Yeah. So they would just propel each other like Space.
Hey, Billy.
Did, with the
Billy. Here's something new for you. There's no sound in space either.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The explosions. See, that's the one thing that always got me with space stuff is that big explosions and all that. And I'm like, but there's no air, no atmosphere. Why would it be such a fireball for so long?
And all the shit white, like when you paint them black.
Right.
You guys complaining about sci-fi movies out in space? Come on, man.
Well, here's another thing.
But do you think like that Ridley Scott thing? No one could hear you scream like in space. Do you think that was his retort to George Lucas's sound?
Right. Maybe. No one can hear you scream.
Well, I mean, if you want to go deeper with the space stuff, like the X-wing fighters and stuff like that, when you see the cockpit when it's open before it goes out into space, it's nothing more than what like a modern fighter jet is, right? And they're not wearing shit, really.
Yeah,
they're not. And it's like that. You can go into space in that, with that flimsy of a cockpit.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start getting angry at you guys. How dare you? This is Star Wars.
No, I'm with you, man. That pissed like Luke Skywalker. Here's a farm boy, 48 hours ago, and now he's flying an
He's flying it better than the other guys that have been trained forever.
He used to wait a minute. He used to shoot womp rats back home, and they weren't much bigger than 3
Oh,
meters.
that's right.
But he was already established as a pilot. Before he left Tatooine.
It's in the comic book. Didn't they delete some of that backstory?
He wasn't just a farmer. He was an experienced pilot for whatever reason. I forget why.
Jan Michael Vincent instead. Then
also let's not forget, he's a descendant of Vader. So Vader had it.
That is true. He had the Force already in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love tropes in
Kung Fu too. I don't know
1950s sci-fi films because these guys, this is post World War II, and they outfitted themselves as if they were going into World War II. Like the Terror from Beyond Space. They're going to Venus.
That.
You just watched that? Yeah. But they decide, when they're going to pack everything, they're going to pack all the food, they're pack, the oxygen, all that. They're going to pack a bazooka.
Yeah, I know.
and
Grenades.
hand grenades.
Yep. And a bunch of rifles, and they're going to fire them off inside the spaceship.
Yeah, inside the spaceship, they got 45 caliber handguns.
Now you got to think: would a bullet be able to work if there's no air? Because you got to strike the primer.
They're in the ship though, so there'd be atmosphere, right?
They're
They're walking around like the gravity.
Can you say that like Kirk? They're in the ship. Can you say that?
Yeah, but you can shoot a bullet underwater.
That's true. Yeah.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I will say, now, Graham, I'm curious to what you think, but I was surprised at how good it was. And it was obviously inspired Alien in like.
Oh, it absolutely did. The whole scene in the air duct tunnel.
I know. I was like, what am I watching? It was, I mean, yeah, there's 1958 schlock, but you get past that. It's actually a pretty good script and pretty well done.
What did you think of the monster's tongue?
Well, you know.
You know what? You know what the story is there?
No, I don't.
Paul Blaisdell made the mask and the costume, right? And Crash Corrigan was he wasn't going to come in for a fitting. He was too busy drinking and hanging out and stuff. So he wasn't going to come in for the fitting. And so Paul Blaisdell used himself as the model to build the mask and everything. Well, the difference was Paul Blaisdell was 5'9" and Crash Corrigan was 6'3" or 6'2". So he puts the mask on Crash Corrigan, and his chin with the cleft in it is sticking out of the mouth hole because it doesn't fit. So they paint it to look like the beast's tongue.
No way.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that now because I didn't realize that.
Look at us still.
All right.
Oh, that's
here's a new pet peeve, okay? And it's a two-parter, okay? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Everybody that turns into a vampire knows karate. Okay. That's one. Right, they're all like karate. And then Smallville, both WB shows, has to take that template. And then my pet peeve with that show was always like, okay, there's this kryptonite and it comes to Smallville, so it gives these like people powers, right?
Right.
So that's the premise. So, but the thing is, what's weird about that show? Oh, there it is.
Okay,
There's
so
holy shit, that is a chin.
It is a chin.
the clef is right there. Yeah.
That is hilarious. I don't know if I would have noticed that without you saying it, but that is a dude's chin.
Can you find any other images of that, Graham? That's delightful.
Oh yeah. Hold on, there's a whole scene.
Let me finish while you guys talk.
You go ahead.
So then there's this kryptonite. So everybody that gets superpowers in Smallville, they don't become heroes. They all become villains to fight Superman. Like, I hate that. Well, this is
not one person is like, I'll use these for good.
Right. There's only one character that does. Everybody else uses it for evil.
Smallville of all places, they all get powers and become dickheads.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, that's even easier to see in black and white.
And that's his neck.
That's
That's his chin
underneath
there.
the chin is his
Oh,
neck.
underneath, yeah.
There might be a piece there to keep his from flopping around in there. So they probably stuck a piece in there.
Oh my God, I gotta go on YouTube and try to find shot.
That is too funny.
Yeah.
Why'd you look like a pig with that nose?
So did the mouth move at all, or was it stationary?
Not really.
It's pretty much stationary, but there's a lot of shots where they would cover him in shadows too.
Right. It was very.
There wasn't a lot of that kind of lot of light.
It was
on
very chiaroscuro, Billy.
Thank you.
Oh.
And by the way, Aaron,
Yes.
outstanding use of chiaroscuro in your mummy drawing from last night.
Thank you.
And good
That
on
was a
you,
great
and
mummy
good
drawing,
for
yeah.
you, and 3 cheers for you, Aaron.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Billy. Thank you. Graham, you got a buttload of super chats, right?
I do. I was waiting for a pause, but now we have a pause, so we're
I
gonna
did
go
see it.
take care
I
of
did.
some business here, folks.
Here's the buttload.
First off, we have Randy Howell for $5 Canadian. Congrats on 5 years. The Professionals was my introduction to CG. Outstanding,
go,
Randy.
Randy.
Glad to hear that.
And we're still
Leg Kick One is checking in for $5. My uncle Tommy, my dad's brother, had dementia. He forgot how to breathe. Yeah, that's unfortunately the end result eventually.
God.
Leg Kick One is back again. My pet peeve: comic characters in movies constantly removing their masks. Why wear the stupid thing? Or go by a code name. That's exactly my point. If you got a mask on and your cape on and you're Batman, Call him Batman. Don't call him Bruce.
You know what the worst one was? The worst offender was Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone.
Because he took it off.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Never take that helmet off.
The Keep Games for $10. That's a good cigar, sir. I hate in TV movies when characters are on the phone. No one says goodbye. They just hang up the phone. How do they know the conversation is over? Happens constantly.
Yeah, they don't say hello either, right? They just pick it up and.
Sometimes they
Yeah.
do.
What about the thing when they leave the door open?
Yeah.
They come.
Hey,
into the
here's
house,
one.
they say hello.
You'll never. This is the only criticism I have of Jaws. Remember when Brody goes back to his office for the very first time after they find the girl on the beach, right? And he's typing in the police report.
Yeah.
And his secretary comes in. The phone rings. She answers the phone and she goes, "Hello." She just immediately goes, "It's the coroner." Like he didn't give him a chance to say it. She just.
Okay.
I like when they're hanging up and they're talking at the same time. Yeah, I think we got to get down to the stadium. We'll see you there. And,
Yeah.
See you there.
and they're hanging up, Jay Rasco 514 for $10. That's another good cigar, and I will have one. My latest pet peeve is bad computer coloring. I see colors using tones of the character's costume, clothing as the background. We're missing the use of color to pop the figures or move the eyes. Very, very true.
Agree.
Observation.
Our pal Paul Taylor is here with a $10 Canadian. That's a good Canadian cigar. You guys are ruining my immersion. You're supposed to suspend your disbelief.
Okay.
Well, you can if it's done well, but if
Yeah.
it's done poorly, it makes it very difficult.
Right.
Yeah. And every form of entertainment invents its own rules. And it's when they break their rules that your suspension of disbelief is broken. If you tell me that, Batman can swing on a little piece of rope that's this big and hold onto it with one hand while carrying a girl. Okay, I'll believe that because you've shown me he can do all these other crazy things. But as soon as he can't do something that would require that same kind of strength or ability, then you expose it, Got one more here, I think. Darren Wagner for $5. My pet peeve is submarine films that don't know the difference between port and starboard and don't know how torpedoes actually work. Crimson Tide. Ooh.
Oh, there was a I said I got Isaac here staying with me, and he's a submariner.
And if you guys want to see more Darren Wagner, he'll be tomorrow night on Pontificators.
Oh, there we go.
Pontificators is just going up a whole new level.
I just learned today why it is called port and starboard versus right and left on a ship. Do you guys know the answer to that?
Nope.
No, I know the definition of posh, where that came from. So I'll let you.
All right. Well, port is the left side of a ship, and that's the ship that when you dock at a port. So that's the port side. The reason you dock on the left side is because in the old ships, the rudders weren't in the back. They were off to the side. They were on the right side, and it was the
wait a minute.
side.
Is it how do you determine right and left as you're on the ship or if you're looking at the ship?
No, you're on it.
Okay,
facing forward.
So like your left arm would be the left part of the ship, and your right.
Yes.
Okay, if you're going forward,
It's sort of like when you're sitting in a car, the right and left side of a car.
right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
And
does that rule apply to every time a boat docks now? I mean, is it the same thing where you come in onto the left side?
Well, yeah, it's like riding. It's like hopping on a horse, bro. You got to get on the left side. God,
I think that's maritime law, that goes all the way back. But before it made more sense because if they parked the boat or moored the boat on the starboard side, you'd crush the rudder or tiller,
But even to this day, like if it's a lake or something like that, and they have boats and things like that, do they still kind of keep that going where they park?
Probably not.
No, I was on a cruise ship, and we in the Bahamas, and we came up on the right hand side of the ship.
Okay.
So the word posh means port out, starboard home. So when the swells, if you will, would get on a ship, they get port side cabins. on the way out, so they could look at England, if you will, and just say goodbye to England. And then when starboard home, when they come back home, they'd be on the starboard side, so they could see home on their way back home. You know what I mean? Not too bad.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
wow.
So that's Paul.
Posh.
All right. Well, what's starboard then?
I thought it was one of the Spice Girls.
Starboard. The stars are on that side.
Here it is. Yeah, this is what I was saying. Starboard comes from the Old English word starboard, meaning the side of the boat where the steering oar was located. Yeah, because the rudder, wasn't a mechanized ship, so the rudder was off to the right side, which was preventing when they're coming into port. If they came in on the other side, they would tear up that rudder.
Right.
Wow.
Interesting.
Look at this. And now the professionals are even educating the masses.
We are an historical treasure, I might say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Old age does have its
Hold on, we
advantage.
got Moondoggy just jumped in here real quick for $4.99 while we're doing super chats. My biggest pet peeve in comics is that heroes can't ever be in relationships or have a family. I'm talking about you, Marvel Comics.
Wow.
Except for the FF.
True.
That's true. But they don't have secret identities. So,
Well, and
That's
they were
true, too.
introduced that way too, as a family. you
Right.
know.
first family.
Right. Yeah, didn't
They're always
did
afraid
Marvel
that
have Peter Parker get divorced from Mary Jane to save his
Well, but here's
FA?
the thing: when you introduce a superhero as a single person, right? They have a certain way that they do their adventures. They don't have to answer to anybody, all this other stuff, and people get used to that. So you bring in a spouse, and suddenly it changes what the dynamic that everybody's used to. So it's harder to get away with. That's why they keep killing all these guys' wives, and because they were never introduced that way. But if you introduce them that way as part of a family like the FF, people accept that, and it becomes part of the dynamic.
Yeah.
Well, also one of the reasons
married
if you
Irish?
look at, I'm sorry, if you look at the dynamic, like even TV does it, it's like the dating part, the ritual stuff, that's the interesting part. But once they're together and they've been together for a while, then it becomes a little bit boring. So usually, you want your hero to have many, many, interesting women.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was a mistake marrying Superman.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I contend it was a mistake having Peter Parker get married too. It changed the dynamic of that strip, and I've made that claim many times on many shows, and I always get railed by modern Spider-Man fans who love Mary Jane and love the fact that Peter's married and all that. But it goes against what the Spider-Man concept and strip was all about. It was about this loser, who happened to have great power, but later on, he's like shagging supermodels and Gwen Stacy. And,
Yeah.
You don't have it that tough, Peter. Quit your whining.
Exactly.
Now, don't you think that's what was that the kickoff? I know people think about the X-Men #1, but wouldn't that be the kickoff of when comics sort of remember it was in the New York Times and Time Magazine and all this when they got married, when Peter and Mary Jane got married? Is that 87, 88 when they got married?
Somewhere in there,
the beginning of the speculator boom, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody, it was all over the news and all that stuff. Peter Parker gets married, Willie Smith, who's a famous fashion designer, which I have a shirt of, a Willie Smith shirt.
I'm sure you do.
So gay. It's when I dress as Paul Lynde. It's the one I wear from the 80s. Anyway, I got it when I worked at Macy's and whatever.
And it still fits?
It doesn't matter. But wouldn't that be sort of the first of the gimmicks, right? I guess.
They used two covers. They had the newsstand edition and the direct-to-comic shop covers on that annual where he got married. That may very well be.
And they hired a famous designer to design Mary Jane's dress.
That's Willie Smith.
That's what he's talking about.
That's him. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the first variant, Aaron. The first variant, we talked about this, was
we did.
John Byrne's Superman, Man of Steel.
That was
Yes,
86,
like that,
right?
Yeah.
That was 86, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Who am I to argue with you, Andy?
I don't have a bunch of 9.0s and 2s and 8s like you, but I know my shit.
Yeah, but Andy, you read your comic book.
Anything below a 9.5.
That's right. Yeah, I read my comics. So
that's why I don't know anything, because I never read them.
you can. Yeah.
Don't crack that open, you'll wreck the spine.
No creases. I'll lose $200 if you crease that.
Can you imagine when Aaron, and I'm not wishing this is going to be at least 40 years from now, when Aaron goes and his kids recycle
anywhere between 10
all his
and 40
Flash
years.
comics because of
Yeah,
Flash.
they're gonna be like, how do we open these things?
Yeah.
Nah, his son's too smart.
My
for that.
son is worse than I am. He won't buy anything that isn't slabbed. I do buy books that aren't slabbed.
Also, your son collects. That's pretty cool. Then, so he'll get your collection.
Yeah, he'll cherry pick it, and get rid of the stuff that
The riffraff, like all the books you worked on.
All the Silver Age crap. He'll be like, this is
makes up
garbage.
the
This
meat
is
of my
garbage."
collection. Is all my.
But he's gonna have all the Tachyon books graded and slabbed.
That's right.
They'll be the only ones in existence.
Then they'll be worth something.
I know. It's like this is the only 9.6 because no one cared enough to get another one
This is from
slabbed.
Aaron's personal collection.
I know. I was saying, Aaron, what you need to do is you need to get you need to get a Tachyon #1, 9.8. Maybe if you could get a 10 in your will, that is literally the only book you leave to Josh. All the rest have to be sold.
Here you go, Josh. Woohoo.
You know what drives me nuts? A super trope of mine is when you are a guest at a Comic-Con and you're not. Like it's a Comic-Con.
Oh, here we go. You did this last
And-
week, didn't you?
What? Yeah, I just had one. Sure did. But what about this? Like the third zombie on the right from episode 2 of season 4 of Walking Dead. He gets to eat all this brought in fucking food, hot food and stuff. And for the comic creators, you go in there and there's a water fucking tank and a couple of bag of chips for us for our green room because we can't be in the same green room as
That's
fucking
right.
Yeah, you know how you get treated better, Billy, is you charge those promoters for an appearance and for what do they call those, per diems?
Per diem.
Yeah.
Because they'll treat you better because they know that they're paying you.
Yeah.
Whenever those guys think they're getting you free, and they always exploit you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they totally do. Like even this weekend, I had a conversation at New York Comic Con with one of the guys there, and talking to some of my friends this week and stuff. And New York Comic Con expects you to buy in Artist Alley to buy your table.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
So, yeah, that's all the Reed shows do. So
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
sitting there.
$500.
I'm at my friend Hot Flips booth. Me and Rob Liefeld and Marat Michaels are there. And the Hot Flips guys, my friends, invited me to be. Would you like to come sign with, come in art? I'll give you a table. Sure, great. So one of the guys comes up for the show, friend of mine, but he doesn't do this part of the convention. He goes, so let me ask you, why are you here with Hot Flips? Did you not apply for Artist Alley? And did you not get in? Now I'm like, I said, because I'm on the website as a guest when he found out that Hot Flips invited me. And they think they're doing you a favor, and they think that they're doing you something good to put you as a guest on their website. If you go to New York Comic Con, you will see Billy Tucci as a guest on this. I am no fucking guest of the show.
No, you paid your way.
They want you to pay for they want you to pay for your hotel. They want you to pay for your table. They want you to pay for your travel, right? So, and I said, I've sold like 4 million comics. I said, I've won 2 Eisner Awards. I'm an Inkpot recipient. I've been doing this for 31 fucking years. I am not going to apply for Artist Alley for this convention. And a lot of people come to me because they know I have a big mouth. So they're not going to, they're afraid to they're afraid to speak up. Let's face it. A lot of our brethren are they're kind of quiet, introverted
Is
type
pussy
guys.
the word you're looking for?
Yes,
Pussies.
Pussy. Okay, I wanted to throw that word
I don't
out
give
to you.
it. So I told him, and I said, now I know that you fly people in, and I'm comic creators because I'm talking to them, and I know you pay for their hotel, and I know if you pay for their airfare, and I know you give them the table space like every other comic convention does in the world. And he goes, "Oh, Billy, that's only like 5 people here." I'm like, "Okay, if that's what you're going to say, fine. That's what you think. It's not just 5 people."
Well,
right?
Well,
It's a
make
starter.
you number 6 then.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, so who do I talk to get to be a guest? Because I've never been a guest at this convention. And I'm one of the first people to do this show that Larry Seberini, I think his name is, called me. I was friendly with him at cons and asked me to do it. And I told all my friends about the show. Who do I talk to that I become one of those 5 guests?
Right.
And he's like, oh, please, Billy. They're not going to do it. They do, like I said, like 5. It's not going to happen. I'm just telling you, it's not going to happen. They'll fly Jim Lee in. They'll fly some Italian guy who's a very famous artist, but that's really, they're not going to do it.
And it's weird because it becomes a double-edged sword or a catch-22 for you, because you'd go like, okay, well then you can't use my name and image to sell your show, and then they'll go fine, and then you don't get the promotion.
Right.
I mean,
they'll show up and go, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yeah. And this is this is what's insulting is then I said, and it's very insulting that you have these people, and they're talking to me and they tell me everything, that you have them as guests and they're not guests at all. It's fucking insulting when you're on the front page of a Comic-Con website as a guest and you're paying for everything your own way. And they have 275,000 people at this convention.
Yeah, and make no mistake, they're putting your name up there not to bring fans of you in so that you can make money. They're putting your name up there to bring fans of you to come in and pay the entrance fee.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
That's why they should pay for it.
That show's big enough. They could do Artist Alley space for free, like Heroes Con does for professional artists, and they'll still make a freaking killing. They will still make a freaking killing.
Yeah, it's just like Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't want to give creators credit. They don't want to give them money. They don't want to do any of that stuff, because as soon as they do, this other creator is going to be going, I want my money. I want my money. So they keep the creatives always under their thumb so that they don't have to get the word out. So they don't have to pay everybody and all this other stuff. And yeah, that's the worst, Billy, where you feel like you're in this situation like, I want the promotion. It's a big show, but they're not really giving me the money. And the reason they're advertising me is because, like Graham said, they can bring people into the door. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of creative people. This is our lot in life, right? This is like a droid.
It is, and it drives me nuts with like your stories with Lou Ferrigno, say, right? Lou Ferrigno gets
that guy
for him for all these things. And there's like 2 people in front of him, and they're pissed off because he's such a,
a douche.
Yeah, douche. And PB777 says Brian Polito does Artist Alley at New York Comic Con. Brian Polito hasn't done New York Artist Alley. He did it once like 5 years ago, and he hasn't done it since. So he's not coming back. But anyway, so it just drives me nuts as it's called a Comic Con, and they treat the comic creators the worst. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable that they're paying these people, these guests that come in that are like small time people. And, like I said, you're someone who's in 2 episodes of Walking Dead and you got killed, and they're getting a $5,000 appearance fee.
Right.
And everything taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, we never see the green room for these places. None of that. There's no green room for us at New York Comic Con, but I'm sure they're all eating like fucking pigs and shit, in their little special room.
But you know who doesn't take advantage of comic fans, comic artists? Dr. Master Retro Elixir for $4.99. Sorry, I missed the super chat earlier, bud. Hail Bros, my pet peeve is modern sound you can't hear in one scene, then blown away in the next. That's true.
Yeah.
All this underplaying acting where they get up and then there's an explosion. You're like, what?
Yeah, you can't hear what they're saying and the music is 10 times louder than the dialogue. You're like, can we reverse this a little bit?
Yeah. What about speaking of the modern sounds, like, and I think it was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the Kevin Costner film, right, where he started off with
and his accent went in.
First he's an Englishman, but remember at one point when they all shoot the arrows and he goes fire, and they all shoot their arrows. There's no fire back then because they didn't have guns. Fire,
right. Yeah, the term comes from
release the arrows.
It's loose.
That's right. It should be just release.
Release.
Loose. It's not. It's loose.
Loose.
Shoot your bullets.
Let's talk about my wife like that.
Wait, loose your shaft.
Oh, loose your shaft.
Loose.
All right, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm not coming anywhere near your shaft, Aaron. I'll tell you.
You're not coming near his shaft. That's good.
It's
gross. There's no coming in shafts. In
a great trope in movies that still holds to this day.
What's that?
Walking away slow from an explosion in the background,
it
baby.
Does not hold to this day.
Heck yeah.
How
That
dare
still
you?
happens.
Graham
I
Nolan.
freaking hate that.
Oh,
And the new one, of course, is the superhero landing.
oh,
Oh,
dude,
I'm so tired of that.
that is like when they make fun of it. I'm like, okay, because you literally called it out, or like, I can't remember what it was I was watching, but there was a superhero landing, and then the person that they were landing in front of goes, "Did you just do a superhero landing?" And I was like, "Thank God it was
Yeah.
at least called out," you know. But yeah, oh my God, they all do it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
Yeah, have an imagination. Yeah.
exactly.
Evil
Uh,
One for $5 wants us to know, I don't feel sorry for any of you. Y'all got a better income than me. You have so much in life already, so eat the chips and the water, you elitists.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, I just want barbecue chips. That's
bitter.
all,
This
and
is
maybe
bitter.
flavored water.
Wow.
You know what? This is for you, evil one.
Yeah.
I
I
just
don't
don't want tap.
Slagging on us should have been a $10 super chat. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
Yeah.
And first of all, when you talk about super chats, I still have yet to see a super chat, even though we collect them for 7 years now on the Pop XP.
Billy, I
Well,
just
now
want to
you're
point
running the
out.
show. You're running the show. Don't you get the money now?
I don't know. I guess I got to change the whole bank account and everything. I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Well, yeah, you do.
You better.
Yeah. Well,
That's
first
right.
off, you also got to not get kicked off of YouTube.
Well, what happened was it's because it was monetized. It's the music. It's not the firearms that.
No, but they wouldn't stop the stream because of that.
Yeah.
Well, I reloaded it up and it's still up. I reloaded it.
No, I know that, but I'm saying the night that we were doing it last week when they just pulled it during the live stream, they wouldn't do that because of music.
Yeah.
So why
They,
would
they
do
would
it?
ding you. They would send you a note saying you can't monetize from the music, but they wouldn't shut you down.
Yeah,
So
they
Yeah,
make-
when I was hosting and they shut us down, it was the intro firearms.
Well, they
Right.
shut me down, but Graham just played it and we're still live.
Yep.
I know. Well, I don't know. Sometimes maybe the algorithm picks it up. Sometimes
there's,
it doesn't.
there's this
We,
hold on.
we went in after that happened to you. Art.
Settings.
Remember, we went into settings and we changed something,
I thought it was monetizing it.
and I can't remember what it
It
was.
wasn't monetization.
No.
It was
Yeah,
something else.
they gave some reason. I thought it was the guns because it wasn't music. That's for sure.
No,
Yeah,
it was
that's
the
an
guns, but
Yeah, but there's whole shows that are about guns, and there's whole clips. I mean, you look at Friday Night Tights; they've got explosions and car chases.
Are
and
you looking for consistency on YouTube, Graham?
Can we ask what's his name? Jeez, why is it escaping me? To we pay him to do a new intro for us, a new Bros intro. That's
Why?
safe without
This one
guns.
works. Well, this one has worked since we've had it. It only hasn't worked for you and Art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it just depends on when you get on their radar or not. Like I think most of the time we're flying under the radar so we don't get dinged, but every once in a while we do. And I do think monetization is part of the issue.
You guys have your stuff automatically set where it's not set for kids.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not that then.
I don't know. Well,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
something.
we'll figure it
Oh
out.
wait, do you check that off before you air the show?
Mine's
Before you-
automatically set.
Mine's automatic.
Right. So yeah, mine is too. But after I publish it, or after the show's over, and I want to add like the thumbnail or something, it'll ask me again,
right.
is it for kids or not?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's all about. But anyway,
What's
do
up?
we have more pet peeves, or is it this about like?
Well, this is
peeves
a
against
pet
YouTube?
peeve.
Exactly.
Demonetized.
Yeah.
Well, we've been
Yeah, I
on
can
now,
relate.
guys, for an hour and 15 minutes. I think we'll wrap her up here. I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got to interrupt before we
Oh,
go
go
any further. Hey, Aaron,
Yes.
congratulations on Wraith. You killed it, man. I know it practically
Thank you.
killed you, but man, what a success story. That's a great
We
campaign.
closed out very strong. Yeah. It was 9 hours in the chair, man. But
Wow.
Yeah.
And you didn't even sit on
Congratulations.
your cushion donut that whole time.
no.
Congratulations.
Hmm.
Yeah, your hemorrhoid donut.
Yeah.
A little protection for the tushy there.
No.
Yeah.
Those are long nights, you know.
You know, when we used to do it like 5 years ago, we all started doing this. It was like, yeah, we were all excited and stuff. Now we're like, oh my gosh, how can I get through 8
Well,
hours? How am I going to do it?
But you're on the West Coast, so it's not as bad for you.
No, it isn't.
Not at all.
When we have to go till 3 a.m., you know.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
what happened was I had to go pick my daughter up from the airport after I was done. So I finished up at 12:30, right? Because Indiegogo never shuts down right when you shut it down. And so we kept drifting till 12:30. I'm like, guys, I got to go pick my daughter up. And then her plane got delayed. So I didn't get to bed till 3 a.m. anyway. And then I ended up getting up at 8 the next morning. So I was dead for like just now getting back.
Yeah.
You were still live the next day, right?
Yeah, it took
Because I
48
promoted
hours
you.
to
I
shut
was
down.
like, it's still up, time to back, Wraith of God.
Yeah, I got a few more backers as a result. And it's funny, I had two people contact me and saying, "Can you extend the campaign? I don't, I haven't ordered yet." And I'm like, it's been up
Nope.
for a year.
That's a pet peeve when you have your campaign going, like you said, for a year, 6 months, and someone's like, "Oh, I can't believe I missed it."
Oh yeah, that drives me nuts. It's like, well, is it still up? No, it's been down for 6 months. You know, I was promoting it every freaking day for a year.
But it just goes to show you how much that we promote it, how little people actually see it. And like on social media, like posting something on Twitter, how much your posts are actually seen.
You can.
I know you guys were like me, like when we first started, you're thinking like, I can't do this. I'm just burning people out, like talking about it all the time. But like you said, you'd be surprised how little coverage you're actually getting, so you have to do it all the time.
Yeah, you do. It feels like
Speaking of that, Back Black and White 3, Sins of the Father, it's up right now on Indiegogo.
Oh, look at how smooth.
Nice segue.
It is. This is the first I've heard of it, Art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's first I've heard of it too.
You're one of
$2.
those.
Contacts Aaron was my favorite book to promote.
I think he means congrats, but we'll take that, Chris. Thank you. No, but the good thing is all of us overprint a little bit, even if just to protect from damaged books. So people that miss the campaign, there's always a few copies left floating around after the fact. So they're more expensive generally, but
Yeah, they're like $200 each.
That's right.
I'm like
I've
that.
got extra copies for $10,000 each. All I need to sell are 5.
And if you want them signed, that's another $1,000.
That's right. That's right.
All right, guys. Before we sign off, I just want to let everybody know that pinned to the chat here is the link to sign up for the Shanu 77. This campaign is going live on the 23rd, Thursday. A week from Thursday, I should say. So the Shanu is back, and he's hungrier than ever, folks.
He wants your heart.
Excellent.
This is a story with a lot of heart. Yeah, it's got a baby in it too. So you got to find out what happens to it.
Does it have 2 men?
Has it got what?
2 men?
Two men and a baby.
There's
With 3 men and a baby.
There's
is it 3 men?
and a Shanu.
3 men and a baby.
It's the Stooges. You should have like 3 men and the baby, but it'd be the 3 Stooges.
No, because I kind of. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But I am, me personally, I'm kind of bi-curious about the idea of 2 men and a baby.
Bi-curious.
I didn't say that, Aaron. Did I say
Yeah, you said that out loud.
The Shanu was the first crowdfunded book I bought, I think.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
You know,
now he's officially backed 5 campaigns.
I know.
I always said I wasn't going to do a sequel, but everybody kept saying you got to do more Shanu, more Shanu. And then a story came to me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do another Shanu story. And then
It's a prequel, right? Though.
Yeah, it's a prequel. It takes place in 77. And here's the thing, guys. If we hit 100,000, there's going to be another Shanu story in it, Shanu 1776. Because the reason this thing is fulfilling in June is I want people to have it for July 4th, to celebrate the nation's birthday. And I want to do a story of the Shanu at the Battle of Trenton. He's over on the Hessian side, and I think it'd be really, really cool. So it'd be Shanu eating up on Revolutionary War stuff. So to celebrate our birthday. So
Very
get ready
cool.
Thursday the
Sign it up.
23rd and back the shit out of this so we can get that story going. So
Yeah. Looks
All
great,
right.
man.
thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, of course, to my bros, and
You know it.
God bless Charlie Kirk's family on his
God bless him.
birthday
Yeah.
today.
Absolutely.
And we will see you again next week on whose channel?
Aaron's channel.
Who knows what might happen?
All right. We'll see you at AA Ron's house. Bye.
There